Looks pretty close up there. You getting close?
Yeah, it looks like it's around June 1. I don't know if that's official. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying that, but it's walked through today. The cages are redone, what their cages are supposed to be like. So pretty awesome, in that area. The rest of it, it's coming along. Street rock's up, and I think they started painting today. The bottom floor. So.
You've talked about it before, but what will that bring for you guys in terms of just adding to a already pretty spectacular stadium and program?
Well, the reason that it was done, going to Ross, a few years back, and you're right. We're so fortunate that we got such a great stadium, but that was built for the fans. The fans earned that one, and with the season tickets and the type of atmosphere that we have. But what's hasn't happened here really since 1989 is the player amenities. And even though in 09 in the expansion we cleaned it up a little bit, nothing was enlarged, and not really besides the team meeting room. The training room actually got smaller in the 09 expansion, if you can believe that. And so this was really built for the players. It was and to kind of put everything, to kind of take a page from football and basketball where they have a practice facility, put everything under one roof. So when the players walk in, not only do they have the locker room, but they training room where they hit, where they pitch, where they lift weights, team meeting room, lounge, all of that stuff under one roof. And I don't know, everybody seems to like their facility, but I don't know if there's a nicer baseball facility when that's done than us. There might be one with a nicer cage, or one with a nicer locker room, but all inclusive. I don't know if there'll be a better one in the country.
Mike, when you lose close games, obviously the bullpen comes into view, but
sure.
What different can you guys do as a team to kind of close out games better?
Well, we have to be better, and one of the, I think the takeaway, I think is really, really maybe in the eyes of the beholder. Where is it half empty, half full? So obviously we haven't been, good enough. And three of the last three losses in SECs where we've had opportunities to close it out and didn't. But prior to that, people were talking about how it was the best bullpen we've ever had. So the half full side of it would be that we've seen it, and we've seen it against good competition. We just haven't executed very well. And so it's a combination of a lot of things, I think. But the biggest thing is guys just doing their job. When you get into what we focused on at the beginning of the year, when you get on the mound, your job is to get off the field and leave the runners that are on base, there, and kind of steal the momentum from their dugout. And we just haven't done that. We haven't made enough good pitches, quality pitches to get off the field. And the truth is, some of it's, people hate to hear this, but it's baseball. Some of it hasn't been good fortune. Some balls that, found holes and made it more difficult. But how to change that fortune is to make some better pitches.
You mentioned about a week ago that you wanted to see some other guys, come on so that you can lengthen that bullpen. Have you seen some of that?
Well, we obviously tried a lot of people, this weekend, and tried to find some different pieces. And it's one of the reasons that Houston's not starting tomorrow is twofold. One, we got to get Jordan Fowler some innings. We got to get some length out of him, and it's getting to the point where if we don't do it now, it's not going to happen, and we can't do. He's too talented not to do that. So he gets to start tomorrow, but it enables Houston not to throw his 100 pitches that he has, in the middle of the week since the beginning of the year, and have another piece to the bullpen. And so, but you saw this weekend Chofi, ate up an inning. Miller, gets into the game, and so with that, you don't need them all though. You need a handful of ones that are real sharp. And I think maybe the bigger thing, this weekend was nobody was really sharp once we got to the bullpen.
Houston was really effective in that role last year too.
Yeah, he was, and really that role was Pagnazzi's, before he left, and there's been other guys, and I think there's a role for that. Everybody talks, when you talk about the bullpen, they talk about the back end guy, the guy that comes in for, at the end, but the pieces to get to that sometimes are more valuable, and guys that can bridge from the starter to the closer, and we've missed that. When we've had some good appearances, obviously. obviously this year, because we talked about just a few weeks ago how dominant we were, and guys like Etheridge and Holston and others, have been able to do that. But Houston gives us another piece to do that.
Most freshmen are pretty up and down. What's allowed Keenan to be so consistent this season?
Wow, I don't know that answer. I wish I did. Probably the biggest thing, he's a good ball player, and he's gotten a lot of good swings off. And I think he's, one of the things that, I guess to your question, a lot of freshmen don't play like they're capable of, and the reason that they don't, I think, is mentally. They just make the game, different, more difficult than it has to be. There's a lot more pressure. When you play in the SEC and you play in front of large crowds, and a lot of guys allow that to change the way they play the game, the way they think about the game. I think Tyler is a great competitor, enjoys the game, and enjoys those moments, and the guys that are really good, figure that out quickly.